Your brainwaves may leak your passwords. While some new tech gadgets boast features like brainwave control, a new study shows hackers might be able to steal your passwords this way. Hackers could use algorithms to learn the patterns of brainwaves through the use of EEG headsets. When typing, a user's inputs correspond with their visual processing, hand, eye, and head muscle movements. These movements are all captured by EEG headsets. A study on brainwave hacking had 12 users type randomly generated passwords into a text box repeatedly while wearing an EEG headset. After typing just 200 characters, an algorithm was able to make decent guesses regarding new characters based on the user's brainwave patterns. The algorithm increased the odds of guessing a 4-digit numerical PIN from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 20. It also increased the odds of guessing a 6-letter password from 1 in 500,000 to roughly 1 in 500. The study shows a person who pauses a video game to log into his or her bank account while wearing an EEG headset could be at risk of leaking their passwords. So, maybe don't access your bank records while gaming? Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Some devices are already using mind control technology. Facebook wants to get inside your head. If Facebook is the future, then you can bet it's going to be filled with some pretty nifty brain control technology. Plans for the new tech were unveiled during the group's annual F8 conference in San Jose, California. Facebook's research group Building 8 is developing a silent speech interface, so users will be able to type with their brains via non-invasive sensors. The technology will tap into the brain's speech center, decoding brain waves and feeding them directly to a computer. The goal is to create a system capable of typing 100 words per minute. Facebook is also working on a project to allow people to hear through their skin. An electronic device will administer frequencies in different patterns on the forearm. Users feel it and decipher the word based on the pattern. Both projects have a 2-year deadline. However, the Skin Hearing Initiative has yet to establish an end goal and is not as advanced as the brain-computer interface. For tech that's not so out of reach, there's Facebook Spaces, a new VR app that's just been released on beta for the Oculus Rift. The platform allows for hangouts in virtual reality space. Users can pull in outside content from across the internet, making for a fascinating yet also slightly bizarre experience.
Bionic reconstruction allows for mind-controlled robotic arms. 3 Austrian men with brachial plexus injuries have become the first people in the world to receive a mind-controlled prosthetic arm based on a new technique known as bioreconstruction. Brachial plexus injuries, often a result of trauma from high-speed collisions, disconnect the brain from the hand. Researchers were able to record and use the signal from slight contractions in the muscles when the patients move their shoulder, elbow, and forearm normally to open the bionic hand. To close the bionic hand, researchers transplanted the muscle from the thigh into the forearm to amplify a secondary nerve signal. A combination of these 2 signals allows the patient to rotate the wrist. Patients undergo cognitive training and training with the prosthetic hand attached to their non-functioning hand before amputating their hand to complete the bionic reconstruction. Researchers plan to apply the technique to patients with a functionless hand or leg caused by different injuries. They are also examining ways to decode muscular signals to achieve more intuitive control of the prosthesis.
Human trials on bionic spine to start next year. There may be new hope for people with spinal cord injuries thanks to a device that is being hailed as the holy grail in bionics. Australian scientists are developing a bionic spine that could allow paralyzed patients to move using the power of thought. The device, a stent electrode recording array, or stentrode, is the size of a small paperclip. Once inserted into the jugular vein using a catheter, it is pushed up to a blood vessel in the brain, where it then expands. Electrodes on the stent record electrical activity from the motor cortex, which controls movement and translates it into commands. The commands are sent to a transmitter embedded just below the chest, which then sends them wirelessly to an exoskeleton or a wheelchair, allowing the patient to move. Scientists tested the stent on a sheep for 190 days and are set to do human trials on 3 paraplegic patients next year. The project was 3 years in the making and was partially funded by Australia's National Health and Medical Research Council, as well as by the US Army.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Exoskeleton to allow paralyzed person to walk at World Cup. A mind-controlled exoskeleton will allow a paralyzed person to walk at the opener of the World Cup. The exoskeleton, part of a project called Walk Again, aims to use technology to overcome paralysis. The system consists of a cap fitted with electrodes, a computer and battery, and sensing legs. Electrodes in the cap pick up brain signals and transfer them to the computer, which converts them into movement. Sensors detect when the foot touches the ground and transmits the signal to an electronic vibrator in the arm, allowing the patient to associate the sensation with walking. 8 people are currently training to demonstrate the technology at the World Cup opener between Brazil and Croatia on June the 12th. The original plan was for one of them to deliver the opening kick.